Hi everyone, this is Naomi Smith, and I am super excited today to be able to share with you some very awesome, exciting information, which is all about creating an amazing vision, where that vision can become so clear, so compelling, and so magnetic that you will literally be able to draw into your life the experiences, the people, the places, the things that are going to help you to step into that vision for your future life. So today we're talking about getting clear about what you want, what you really want. So, what this is about is going down three layers, which is what you want, what you really want, and getting out of the head and getting into the heart and the soul, which is where we really tap into the universal powers that can, the law of attraction that can literally bring in almost by magic those experiences that we want to have most. So we're going to run through today the manifestation process, which starts off with getting clear about what you want and then aligning your energy, your thoughts and your actions and your feelings around a process that literally creates your outcome for you. So I'm very excited to share this information with you. Now, the model that we're talking about today, once you can master this skill, and this skill is essentially a skill that underpins any work that we do in the future, which is why we're starting off with it now. Once you master this skill, this will be an incredibly powerful skill that you will use in every area of your life, whether it's your relationships, money, friendships, social, family, career, business, health and well-being, being able to bring in holidays, all of those types of experiences that we want in our life are all created by this same process that we're going to be sharing with you today. So I'm excited, and I've got a lot of really super cool information. So let's move along and start the journey. So, just as this picture of this beautiful, gorgeous girl is holding onto the dandelion and giving it a blow and letting her wishes go out to the world, we need to realize that we are constantly creating our reality through what we send out to the world. So every thought, every feeling, every emotion, every behavior that we do, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, is creating the reality that we are living in today. So what we're going to be looking at today is how to consciously create what it is that you want most, as opposed to being stuck in the subconscious mode where you've always done what you've always done, and perhaps focusing on some things that are not wanted or not enjoyable or not amazing experiences, and how to shift your energy into more of what it is that you do want. So it's about incredible focus. As I mentioned, this model that I'm working with you today is one that truly integrates the head, which is our thoughts and our logic and our ability to create from what makes sense in our cognitive brain, our soul, which is that part of us that already really knows the answers, that still little voice that we forget to listen to sometimes, that deep down already knows what's right and pure and beautiful for us. This is about getting aligned with your truth, which is what your soul's voice is all about. The heart is about feelings, and it's about love, and it's about joy and happiness and bliss. So basically what we're looking at today is bringing these three forces together, which when combined provides the most amazing universal energy that you could ever wish for. And the power of this process is just amazing. So it's when we combine all three of these elements in a way that there is no conflict, Because, you know, if our heart wants something and our head says, no, that's not going to happen, there'll be internal conflict. Or if we, you know, decide to go off on something that is misaligned with our core values and what we really treasure in our life. So, for example, family, or, you know, a relationship, or, you know, whatever it is that we truly, truly know is right for us, you know, there will be some level of conflict. So what I'm all about is having, you know, those three parts work together with no conflict, so that we can harness the power, the collective power of the head, the heart, and the soul, to be able to step into the creation process. And, you know, the creation process starts with getting clarity and becoming crystal clear about what it is that you want most. So, you know, if you walk into a restaurant and you decide that you want to, you know, have some food, and the waiter comes along and says, hello, what would you like to order? And you say, I really don't know. I might have the fish, or I might have the chicken, or the steak looks pretty good too, but this vegetarian lasagna looks amazing as well. So I'm really not sure what I want. So the waiter's likely to say, no problems, I'll give you a little bit more time. And the waiter will go off and serve someone else. And then in a little while, the waiter might come back and the waiter might say, so what would you like? And you say, well, I really don't know. I've just spotted this gorgeous salmon over here, and that looks pretty good as well. And the waiter said, okay, well, it sounds like you're still not too sure, so I'll give you a little bit more time. And so the waiter goes off again. And after about another 20 minutes has passed, the waiter comes back a third time and said, are you ready to order yet? And you say, well, last time I was here, I had this and it was pretty good, but I think I might want something different next time, but I just really don't know. He's probably going to get sick of asking you. And, you know, there's going to be a point when you're sitting in that restaurant and everybody around you is eating and you're getting really hungry. And you're wondering why it is that your meal hasn't arrived. But the truth is that until you decide what it is that you want and you take appropriate action, nobody's going to start cooking that meal for you, and it's likely that you're going to get a little hungry. So today's all about, you know, making a decision. It's about getting clear about what you want. It's about being able to send out powerful, strong, clear messages to the world and to the universe in your words, your thoughts, and your actions, so that you can draw in what it is that you want most. Because I don't want you to be going hungry, my darling. I want you to have a beautiful meal and to be fully satisfied in every area of your life. So let's get clear about what it is that you want. And the way that we will be creating in this process, which I actually call quantum creation, because quantum creation is all about, you know, tapping into the powers of the universe that we literally can't see, but are absolutely present when we combine the head, the heart, and the soul. So the way that we tap into quantum creation and that higher level energy is through two emotions. So the first emotion is happiness. And what I want you to create from is a place that feels like you are happier than a pig in mud. So I'll share with you in just a moment why we need to create from happiness. And it is truly, you know, a very, very powerful emotion. But my goal for you in this creation process is to help you to step into a state of happiness as your base state for creation. So, you know, and often we think that we have to wait until we receive the thing, whether it's the relationship, the job, the house, the holiday, the clothes, the money, whatever the thing is, until we can feel happy. What I want to share with you is that we have to actually become happy first to be able to receive the thing that we think will make us the happiest. So because we literally have to match our energy with what it is that we want to draw in. The second emotion that accelerates the attraction process exponentially is gratitude. Now, this is a quote from one of my lovely friends, Amanda Gore, who I look up to as one of my mentors. And she said, put on your gratitude glasses and review your world. It will seem very different. So we're going to talk in just a moment about gratitude and happiness. And these two emotions are key to being able to create in a way that feels effortless, joyful, easy, graceful, and, makes us feel good. So the reason that these two emotions are so important is that we tap into the power of the universal, the laws of the universe, laws of attraction, the universal laws of attraction. So basically how energy works is that we can measure our energy on a scale of 0 to 1,000. So our energy or resonance or frequency, whatever you want to call it, is based on how we feel. So if you can imagine there's a scale of 0 to 1,000, right at the bottom of the scale is emotions like fear, grief, depression, despair, and those are really low level energies. And then we move up into higher level emotions. So we move into, jealousy, insecurity, guilt, unworthiness, anger, rage, revenge, and hatred. Interestingly, anger and rage and revenge have got a higher frequency than depression, despair, and powerless, because we're actually feeling more powerful. So, when we're in those low level energies, we feel like we don't have any ability to draw in or to make things happen. But, as we move up the scale, we have more energy to be able to create. So, then we move into disappointment, doubt, worry, blame, discouragement, sadness, moving up into boredom, pessimism, frustration, and then we start to move into our magic zone, which is the green here on the slide that you're looking at. So the magic zone kicks in at trust, optimism, hopefulness, contentment, and then into enthusiasm, eagerness, happiness, positive expectation, belief, joy, passion, empowerment, freedom, love, and appreciation. So what I'm saying here is that the higher frequency energy, emotional energy that we feel, the more likely we are to draw in experiences, people, places, things that match that high frequency. So it's like getting in your car and your radio is stuck at 97.3, but you really want to listen to 106.9. And your radio keeps playing 97.3. And you're screaming at the radio, stop playing 97.3, stop playing 97.3, I want to listen to 106.9. Why aren't you playing 106.9, you stupid radio? I really want 106.9. But until you actually change your dial on the radio to go to 106.9, you're going to continue to tune into what matches the frequency of 97.3. So low level frequencies, low emotional energy frequencies will make things hard. And, when we're in lack, in that low level emotion, we feel like we haven't got what it is that we want. So we create a place of lack. And so we continue to attract experiences that feel difficult and feel like there's never enough, and that we don't deserve good things, and that, we're not the one that gets the special, beautiful, amazing things. So, we have a lot of resistance and blocks to being able to have good things when we're at a low level energy. And, it can feel really, really, really hard and difficult to have good things come in when you're in that low level emotion. So, yet when we move up into the higher level frequencies like love and joy and happiness and gratitude or appreciation, things just happen easier because we're moving more into abundance. where, you know, our life is full of good things and we see good things because we focus on good things. And that's when we start to attract more and more. So you may say, well, that sounds very good in theory, but I actually don't feel that happy and grateful right now because I've got a lot of challenges or struggles in my life. And, you know, I want to put my hand up and say, my beautiful, gorgeous, amazing person, you know, we all feel struggles at time, and I've certainly, you know, been in my dark places many, many, many times over. And, you know, this is a choice that we can train our brain to start to shift ever so, you know, ever so powerfully with very small intentional steps. So, you know, this is something that you may not master overnight, but with continued focus, you absolutely will master. And I promise with every pore of my body that once you do master it, things will become very much easier and more powerful and more joyful. And you will feel so much happier in yourself that, you know, you're almost find that, you know, life just happens for you. You don't have to force it anymore. You're literally drawing it in. So we're going to talk about how to do that now, and how to, I guess, set up a place where you can attract what it is that you want with clarity and love and happiness and gratitude. So now what I want to say to you is that, you know, our brain is like a GPS unit. So, you know, our brain is a destination seeking, you know, facility. So it will always try to take us to a new place, wherever we tell it we want to go. But the brain can only navigate based on the maps that are loaded into the brain. So, you know, if we had a GPS in our car that was, you know, 15 or 20 years old, and those maps were loaded 15 years ago, and we wanted to go to a new subdivision that didn't exist 15 years ago when those maps were loaded into the GPS, our brain would have trouble, or our GPS would have trouble finding those new destinations. So, you know, we'd be in the car and we'd be driving down the highway and it would be taking us down dead-end streets and, you know, trying to get us to turn into places that don't exist, and it would be going round and round in circles, getting totally confused and taking us in all sorts of places other than where we're meant to be. And that's kind of what happens in life when we want to get to somewhere that we haven't been before. And literally we've got this new destination that we want to reach, but our brain doesn't have the maps loaded in terms of how to get there. So it gets confused like a GPS would, looking for a new destination without any maps loaded. So our brain can only work off of what we put into it. So, you know, if we haven't loaded the new maps yet, it can only work from the past. So the way that our brain loads maps is through two things. It loads it from memory of the past or imagination of the future. Now, pretty much what happens is most of how we create is from memory of our past, which is why we continue to stay stuck in the same patterns where we do the same things over and over and over and over again, because our brain has very strong patterning for what we've done in the past. And particularly if there's emotion attached to some of those memories, where there's been pain or, you know, or lots of joy, or, you know, some strong feelings, those memories can become very, very embedded and can be the predominant mapping system for our behavior moving forward. So our memories will continue to play out and will set the path for our future if we don't put some new maps into the brain. So the way that we put new maps into the brain, which is what we want to do if we want something different to what we've had in the past, is through our imagination. Now, the brain doesn't know the difference between a memory of the past and an imagination of the future. It sees both as just a story that we choose to tell ourselves, that we attach a feeling or an emotion to. And, you know, basically the power of the map depends on how many times we replay it and how much intensity of emotion is attached to that experience. So we can literally we rewire our brain to move from the old memories into new beginnings in our future by imagining repeatedly a vision that we want to create for our future and attaching intense emotion around it. And that's the model that I want to show you today. So when we do this process, it's about stepping out of the head, because, you know, often when we start to, you know, think about what it is that we want, we move straight into, you know, the old sort of SMART goals and things like that, which we will not be doing any SMART goals whatsoever here today. I don't believe in them. I think it's a load of crock. And, you know, what I'm all about is getting out of the head and into the heart, because the power of your soul and the power of your heart will actually override the power of your head. So, so this is about getting back to your truth and getting aligned with, you know, what it is that you really, really want when you go deep down within to that still, quiet, beautiful voice that already knows the answers. Now, when we do this creation process, we're going to be working between the alpha brainwave energy and the theta brainwave energy. So I want to talk a little about brainwave energy. Now, with our brain, we have 4 different levels of brainwave energies, or different speeds of brainwave energy. So the brainwave energy that we use most of the time is called beta, and it's our normal, alert, awake energy. So it's a very fast energy, and it's our thinking mode, it's our doing mode, it's our getting shit done mode, it's our taking control, it's our stepping up, it's our problem solving mode. So this is where we have something in our brain called the critical faculty, which is where we see problems and we look for solutions, how to solve problems. It's where we also create stress from. So because we, you know, we're producing a hormone, a neurochemical in our brain called adrenaline. So adrenaline is what fires us up to get stuff done. It's that chemical that's designed to lift us to be able to deal with whatever it is that's in front of us. So designed to be able to help us to have that extra surge of energy and power to cope with a threat. So, you know, fight or flight, right? So, you know, you're in the forest and you get attacked by a wildebeest. Your body's going to get flooded with adrenaline to be able to help you to have superpowers to be able to fight off that wildebeest or escape. So adrenaline is designed to meet the need for a perceived threat. And unfortunately, in our lives today, we tend to be operating on stress mode or threat mode, which is that busy, I've got to get this done, I've got to get that done, I've got to get here, I've got to get there, I've got to, you know, I've got this deadline. And we're in our head so much that we actually produce adrenaline constantly, to the point where we can start to move into adrenal fatigue, which means that our adrenaline glands are basically, you know, getting very exhausted from trying to produce adrenaline to keep up with this constant busyness and doing things and thinking all the time, when our brain just won't stop because our brain's just going rah, 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 rah. It's where we get stressed, and then when we start to get overstressed, we produce a chemical called cortisol, and cortisol gives us what's known as commonly as brain fog, which is cortical inhibition, which is shutting down our ability to think clearly. And it can also make us feel very sad, exhausted, where we can never get enough sleep. We feel like we have nothing left to give. And it feels like everything feels like it's just a struggle. And that feeling comes from being in beta brainwave energy too much. So beta brainwave energy is absolutely a powerful, awesome energy, but too much of it will not serve us. So, and it's very much head-based. So the energy that we need to start working in to create what we want to create most is alpha, and potentially at some points theta, but alpha is the main one that we'll be using. So alpha is a slower brainwave energy. So it's when we're not so much thinking, but we're just being. So for me, I know that I feel like I'm in alpha energy when I'm at the beach, or perhaps in the shower, or having a massage, or patting my dog, or listening to some music and having a glass of wine while I cook. It's generally a sensory type of experience. So when you're not thinking or doing, you're being. So, you know, when you're touching somebody, that can take you straight into alpha. And alpha brainwave energy is that place where we actually tap into a different part of our brain. And this part of our brain has a more creative way of problem solving. So it gives us answers. So often, you know, what happens for me sometimes is I hop in the shower and I've been thinking about a problem for days and I don't know how to fix it. But then I'll hop in the shower and I'll have this amazing idea and I'll come out and just do it straight away because I go, man, that's the answer. So sometimes it's like we have to switch our head off to be able to just tap into that part of our wisdom. The way that we access alpha brainwave energy, there's two ways. So we naturally are in alpha brainwave energy twice a day, when we wake up in the morning and when we go to sleep. So we're still awake, but we're not yet in busy thinking mode. So naturally, first thing in the morning or late in the evening, we have alpha. The other way that we can tap into alpha very quickly is through our breath and through some lovely, lovely big, deep breathing. And when we take those big, deep breaths, we're literally sending a message through to our brain via our heart that tells it that it can let go and it can just relax. And just for a moment, it can just be, it doesn't need to do anything, and it can just relax. And those nice big deep breaths just allow us to let go of that head energy and be able to step into our heart. So the good news is too, when we practice getting into alpha brainwave energy, what actually starts to happen is we produce chemicals in our brain that make us feel good. So the main chemical we produce in alpha is a chemical called serotonin, which is our happy, calm, and centered chemical. And it has a reverse effect of cortisol, which cortisol produces brain fog or inhibition in the brain. And serotonin produces clarity and happiness and happy, calm, and centered, where we can think clearly. And it produces a condition known as cortical facilitation, which basically means we can think clearer. And the serotonin means that we feel happier. And, you know, this allows us then to access different parts of our brain that we can't while we're just in head mode. So, you know, we will be working throughout the program together on how to get into alpha brainwave energy, which is that place that you can create from. So alpha brainwave energy, as I mentioned, is about feeling, not thinking. So, you know, it's about engaging our senses. So being very mindful of, you know, the five senses: the smell, the taste, you know, our hearing, our touch, and for most people, visualizing is our predominant sense. But all of us will have, you know, each of these senses in different levels. But the creation mode that we're talking about here, which is out of the head and into the heart and soul, is very much a sensory experience. So what I want you to think about when you're processing this information is how, you know, how do you want to feel? You know, what is it that you really want that feels right and pure and beautiful in your soul for you? What is it, you know, how would you know if you had it? What would you be feeling? Because everything that we chase in life is about the feeling that we want to have. So, you know, if we want to buy a beautiful, you know, BMW convertible, you know, the reason we want that convertible is how it makes us feel when we drive down the road. You know, it makes us feel successful. It makes us feel that we've achieved, you know, something important to us. And it makes us feel like, you know, we're able to enjoy a quality experience. So, you know, what is it that you really want to feel? And that's how we're going to create. Now, In terms of creating a vision, and your vision is going to be so important, because the key to creation is to know exactly what you want and to be so strong and powerful and clear in your vision about what's right and pure and beautiful for you in your life, that you literally allow anything that doesn't fit that vision to drop away, and you attract what it is that you want. So some ways that we can start to get clear on that vision, there's quite a few different ways, and I'm going to talk about a few different ones today. So one method that I do like is basically seeing yourself in a movie cinema. And there's a big screen at the front of the cinema, and that screen is showing a movie of your life, and your life as how and where you want to live. So if you could imagine watching that movie and sitting back as an observer, and noticing the laughter, the tears, the joy, the happiness, the fun, the good times, and some of the sad times. If you were to create a movie of your life and you were the director, which you actually are, and you were also the lead actor in your movie, what would your movie represent? So what would you want to sit back and watch? And if you were able to create the scenes for your future movie of your life, what would you be putting in those scenes? And dial up the level of emotion, dial up the experiences, dial it up into whatever you want to create. Because in all of this visioning, my darling, everything is totally up to you. So play big, make it an epic movie that somebody else would also enjoy watching. Make it something that you're really proud of. Make it something that lights you up. Make it something that makes you feel really passionate about. Wow, look at my life. So as I said, the first option that is a really nice way to create is through a movie. The next option that is also a really nice way to get clear about your vision is to start to think about, what would a perfect day actually look like for you? What would you be doing, feeling, seeing, tasting, smelling? Who would be sharing it with you? What time would you be waking up? Would you be waking up in the arms of your amazing partner? What would they be saying to you as you roll over and give each other a good morning kiss, and maybe a little bit of a special cuddle? What sort of things would you be looking forward to in your perfect day? Who would the players be that are around you? Your friends, your family, your partner? What types of things would you know to be true about your life? What would make a perfect day for you? So let your imagination run crazy again and create a perfect day. The next method that I have used this one as well, and it's called Mind Movies. Now, this is there's literally a website called Mind Movies, and you can go in there and for a fee, you can subscribe, where you literally create a movie with all of the different experiences that you want to create in your life. So it's like it's got affirmations, and it's got different pictures, and there's a software that allows you to add different things in and create a little mind movie with some backing music and so on. So you can create a movie which can be saved onto YouTube, and you can literally watch this movie every day and continue to watch that. So that's actually quite a good method as well. I like vision boards, and here's an example of a vision board. I have my own vision board that sits in front of me at my desk, and I look at it every single day while I'm sitting working. And the idea behind vision boards is that you just pick up a stack of random magazines, and you flick through the magazines and just notice what jumps out at you. So this is a very different process to sitting and writing out words from the head. So this is literally just noticing things, cutting them out, putting them up in no particular order, and creating a vision for your life. And I've I've been working with vision boards for many years, and I've got to tell you that I have had some amazingly freaky experiences that where literally the house that I cut out as my dream house showed up literally, and I just could not believe that. There was a particular mentor that I wanted to work with, and I cut his photo out and put it up on my vision board, and within 2 weeks that mentor and I had started working together in a very unexpected and serendipitous way that turned up. So all sorts of magic can happen when we start to get clear. So all of this visioning is essentially about that that single thing about clarity, but clarity that feels happy, and feeling that you're just very, very grateful for. My personal favorite method for getting a vision crystal clear is journaling. And this is the one activity that I have found over all of my years of doing this work to be the most effective. And I want to share with you how I use to create. But, having said that, I'm also happy if you want to choose your vision boards, your mind movies, your perfect day creation, or, visualizing on the movie screen. I'm happy for you to try all of these and then land on what works for you. But for me, what I love about journaling is I get my journal out each morning and I write. And I write first thing in the morning, usually around about 5:30 in the morning. I get up and I make myself a coffee and I sit down with my journal. I always buy a nice journal, so it doesn't have to be ridiculously expensive, but just a nice book that I enjoy looking at, that feels good when I pick it up, and a nice pen that feels good when I write. It flows really nicely. So I like to use an ink pen and a nice journal. I start off with my journaling with the words, "I am so happy and grateful now that I," and then I continue on to tell a story. Now, as I tell my story, the story I'm telling is my future story that I intend to create. So I'm telling it in the current tense, and I'm telling a story as though I already had what it is that I intend to bring in. So when I'm telling my story, I'm telling a story about, what I'm seeing, what I'm feeling, what people are saying to me, what's going on around me, how, those people that I love and care about feel about about what I'm doing. I talk about what I've learned about myself, what I know to be true, how amazing it feels, how happy I am, how incredibly loved I feel, and how easy things actually feel, because how amazing it feels to be honoring my truth and things like that. So that's sort of the storytelling that I go into. I talk about some places that we might be going, some things that my amazing man is saying to me as he kisses my neck and whispers in my ear, and I talk about what my daughter feels like around us, and how it feels to be going and doing all these different experiences, and how amazing it is to just wake up in his arms each morning and have him tell me that he loves me and adores me and that I'm the sexiest woman on earth. And planning our future and all sorts of things like that. So I like journaling. What I do with journaling is I write every day. And I'll write about the same sort of story for a period of time. So, for example, if I'm focusing on relationships, I stay on the relationship one for, maybe 60 days. And I'll write about the relationship, the type of relationship that I want most. And, and I really, what happens is when we continue to write that story every day for 60 days, we are creating neural pathways, new imagination, and new maps for our brain to move towards. When we create those types of experiences in our imagination, we're also, again, producing those chemicals of serotonin and oxytocin, because our brain actually thinks that we're experiencing these happy events, so it produces happy chemicals. So this can actually become quite addictive in that it feels amazing. It's almost like a cocaine hit, not that I've ever had cocaine, but it's just like this supercharge of energy that makes you just feel really, really good. So journaling and telling a story over and over and over again is something that will adjust the chemicals in your brain. It'll make you start to feel happy and loving and grateful and joyful, and move your emotional energy up to a place where you can tune into high frequency experiences. So I started off using the I Am So Happy and Grateful Now That after I watched the movie The Secret. Now, a lot of you, I'm sure, would be familiar with the movie The Secret. It's one of the most powerful self-development movements that I think I've ever seen in my life. And, it spoke about law of attraction and tuning into, higher frequency energy and matching our vibration with the experiences that we want to bring in most. So Bob Proctor said, begin each sentence with I am so happy and grateful now that, and when you give thanks as though you have already received what you want, you are admitting a powerful signal to the universe. That signal is saying that you have it already because you're feeling gratitude for it now. Each morning before you go out of bed, make a habit to feel the feelings of gratitude in advance for the great day ahead as though it is done. And that's the key to this, is basically being able to give thanks in advance for something that has not yet arrived, but we act as though it already has. And that's a really significant piece of this whole manifestation process. So now, in terms of juicy journaling, which is, as I said, journaling is my favorite method. I found it the most powerful, and I found that Bob Proctor tip on I'm so happy and grateful to be the most powerful way to journal. My tips are to do it first thing in the morning, because it's where you're naturally in that alpha brainwave energy, and you can get into your heart and out of your head. Because your head's going to be telling you, no, you can't do that. That's not realistic. That's just a load of crock, rah, 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 rah. So it will block you from being able to imagine. So starting off with the I'm so happy and grateful, notice what's happening around you. So when you are writing your vision, go big. Go, look at the people around you. Take it out and out and out, and continue to see the ripple effect that's actually being created through you stepping into your power and your love, your joy, your happiness, and creating on purpose what it is that you want most. Get sensory and sensual. So what I mean by that is get out of your head and into your feelings. So those 5 senses are the key to really supercharging your journaling and your creation experience. Write your vision as though it is your reality already. Look at who you are becoming through that experience. Look at what would you be doing? What would you be thinking? What would you be feeling? What would you know to be true about yourself in that state where you've actually already got what it is that you want most? And then, look at what wisdom you would be able to understand and gain from your future self. So somebody that already had what it is that you want, what would they want you to know right now to be able to help you to continue on that pathway and continue moving forward? And, when you're in that journaling space and you're in the imagination and you've really bedded down how to do this, just notice why it is so precious and important to you. And, once we get our why really, really crystal clear, that will anchor this vision on an amazingly powerful level where it literally becomes magnetic, and you will not deviate from the path, because you know what it is that you want, you know who you are, you know where you're heading, and you know what it is that is most important to you. So we spoke just at the beginning of the session about the energy frequency scale, and we spoke about why high level emotions will attract high level experiences, and low level emotions will attract low level experiences. So this slide here just gives a little bit more detail, and I hope that I guess from when we started to where we're at right now in this session, you'll already have gained some understanding as to why this is the case. So, but this model sets it out really well. So basically, when we feel bad, we're going to have resistance to being able to have what it is that we want most. So we can't start attracting the good stuff until we start to feel good. Now, you know, as I said, you know, often we feel like we can't feel good until we've got the thing that we want. But the truth is, the thing that we want won't show up until we start to feel good. So we have to start to shift our energy to feeling good before the thing that we want, that we think is going to make us feel good, can actually show up. So, you know, our goal throughout our work together is to continue to move up the emotional scale. And there's a lot of ways that we will work through, you know, moving forward around this. But my goal is about, you know, helping you to feel good in the first instance, because as you start to feel good, you will find that more of what it is that you want will start to show up. So the first place to look at when we want to start to feel good is through our vision and our clarity, and, you know, again, you know, just getting so excited and passionate about what it is that we intend to create. Now, one of the warnings about this process, and I just want to flag this to you, is that there's times when our logical brain, you know, will start to sort of, you know, want its voice to be heard. So we create this amazing vision of this life that we want to live, and it feels different to what we're experiencing now. So, you know, right now we feel lonely. We don't feel beautiful. We don't feel loved. We don't feel sexy. We don't feel desirable. Yet we want to have this amazing romance where, you know, an amazing partner's going to adore us and treat us as his love goddess. Or, you know, we want to have this amazing job where we're so happy, yet right now we're in this crappy, shitty job that we hate. So sometimes, you know, when there's a big gap between our reality and where we really want to be, we can visualize it, but then our logical brain will come in and start, you know, doing its job as the critical faculty or problem seeking machine, and it'll say, no, that's not going to work. So, you know, doubt and fear will come up, and it will come up based on our previous patternings that says, I don't get what it is that I want. So, you know, we have two forces that drive us, and those forces are love and fear. And as we move forward, we will be working more on how to understand what the voice of fear really wants for us and how we can understand our fear and push through it. But for the moment today, what I just want to flag is that, you know, if doubt and fear comes up, the most powerful way to move through doubt and fear is two things. Firstly, just saying, thank you for letting me know this fear. But I want to ask love, what would love choose for me right now? So, you know, we can ask, we can direct our thoughts to fear or to love. So just checking in to say, what would love choose for me? And the second thing that is really important when it comes to fear and doubt is to chunk things down. So often, as I said, we've got this shitty reality that we're not happy in at the moment, and we've created this vision for this amazing life that we want to live. And there's a big disconnect where it feels like a long way away. So the way to be able to stop our conscious mind from, you know, creating the story around doubt and fear is to break that down into small, consistent steps. So you don't have to know how to go the whole, you don't have to know every step on the staircase. All I want you to be able to focus on is the next 1 or 2 or 3 steps. So it's those small, consistent steps towards a big vision that will actually override the doubt and fear that could come up. So we still hold the big picture in our mind. Absolutely. That's so important. But we acknowledge it and we just focus this week. I'm going to take action and I'm going to do these 1 or 2 things that are going to take me closer to that vision. So it's like we see the big picture, but we choose to focus today on just these couple of steps that are right in front of us. And then when we get to those steps, we will see the next couple of steps, and then the next couple and the next couple. So it's kind of what we're doing to our brain is bringing the big picture closer and focusing just on something that's smaller and more achievable, so that our brain doesn't give us that conflict that tells us that it's not achievable for us to do that. And the theory that I work with is one called Kaizen, which is a Japanese term for continual improvement. And, you know, the continual improvement is basically just saying, look, we are already good, but to become better, it's just that 1% today, 1% tomorrow, 1% the next day, 1% the next day. And what we realize is that over a period of time of consistent small steps, you know, we have taken a long journey. So, you know, chunking it down and just continuing to take those little steps to move forward over a period of time, and, you know, you'd be amazed at the power of that. So when we're doing this creation, we will be creating through three forces. As I said, the head, the heart, and the soul. So, you know, the head is our masculine, which is that doing, it's performance, it's action, it's strategy, and it's detail, and it's getting things done. The feminine, or our heart, is in being, it's in finding the meaning, it's in dreaming, visioning, celebrating, it's being able to see big picture and possibility. And then the third force that we take into account is our soul, which is basically when we tap into that part of us that already knows what's right and pure and beautiful for us, and it aligns our thoughts and our feelings with our actions to be able to take continuous movement forward. And that's basically how we create. So, you know, if we were all heart-based, where all we did was dreamed but took no action, we would be unlikely to get it what it is that we want. If we were all action and no heart, you know, we would probably maybe get something but not feel fulfilled when we've got it. And if we're not aligned and we're not doing living according to our values and what's most important to us, we're going to continually have inner conflict. So this is about bringing those three components together, as I said, the head, the heart, and the soul, which is true alignment and power. And you know, when we have alignment, it's like we can step into flow and things just become easier, because our head and our heart and our soul are all working in tandem together to be able to create, as opposed to the energy getting disconnected from conflicts where, you know, one wins and the other doesn't. And alignment means that we get rid of the kinks in the hose. So basically alignment means that, you know, the flow can come through powerfully and effortlessly without all of the different blocks. And as I said, we will be working as we move forward on how to remove blocks and to continue that flow. But, you know, today's session really is about, you know, being able to create a very clear vision of what it is that you want, what you really, really want, so that your head, your heart, and your soul can all be combined and in alignment to be able to understand what it is that we are working towards. Now, in the manifestation process, what I do want to tell you is that there is a gestation period. So, you know, we can create a vision today, and, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean that's going to happen tomorrow. There's a period that we need to stay aligned with, and we need to continue to act believing and knowing, then trusting that what it is that we want is on its way to us. So things don't always happen overnight, but when we stay the path and we are, you know, connected, it will happen. And, you know, here's what I know to be true as well. The happier and the more grateful and the better we feel, the faster this manifestation process happens. So, you know, and the shorter the gestation period, where literally things can show up in hours or days rather than months and years. So, you know, just understanding that each person's going to have a different gestation period for their manifestation to show up, depending on how they're feeling emotionally, how clear they are on what it is that they want, and how aligned their thoughts, words, and actions are according to their core vision. And as I said, the key to this visioning is truly where the head, the soul, and the heart are all together. And that is your magic zone where we tap into the power of the universe, and we think, feel, and act in accordance to our truth. So the keys to manifesting, and this is just some really cool tips to be able to bring in what it is that you want. Get clear on what you want, what you really, really want, and why you want it. Focus on one area of life and stay on that vision for at least 60 days. State your income in the present, your outcome in the present tense, using positive terms. So in other words, we want to state it as though what we don't want to say is I am not with anybody who is beating me up, or mean, or I am not stressed, or I am not angry anymore, or I am not disappointed. So you would say, I'm with a loving partner who treats me like his goddess. I mean, and I'm enjoying going to work and being with amazing people who treat me like my opinions are valued and important. I feel peaceful. I feel happy. I feel excited about opportunities that are continuing to unfold. So we create in terms of how we're feeling in the present tense and the good things that we're feeling, not what we don't want to feel. Look at the ripple effects. Make your vision bigger. Just keep an eye out for any potential conflicts and notice those, and just make sure that you get back aligned with head, heart, and soul. Take a leap of faith and move. You need to take action, because otherwise this is just information. And, what sets this into progress is knowing what you want, getting aligned, and then taking action. Just small steps. Clear the way, declutter, let go of what's going to block you. Connect with your soul's purpose and love energy using all the 5 senses. Express gratitude for everything that you have already and all that's on its way. So if you go to the fridge and there's a fridge full of food, give thanks for the fact that you have food. If you hop in the shower at night and there's hot water, give thanks for the fact that you've got hot water. If you get in your car and you can drive your car to work or to the shops, be thankful that you have a car that can take you to these places. If you have a friend that calls to say, how are you? Be thankful for the fact that you have a friend. And, as we continually tune into that gratitude and give thanks for what we have, we attract more things that we can become thankful and happy about. Let go of, the how, and start to just go, you know what, I don't have to be in control of the how. I just know that it's going to show up on some way. And lastly, be patient, purposeful, and aligned. So, know what it is that you want. Continue to focus on that. Think, feel, and act in accordance with what you want. And, and move forward, knowing what it is that's right for you. And ultimately, as I said, this process is about going into, like if you were going into a restaurant, you put your order in and then you sit back and you expect that order to arrive at your table and to come in a form that is enjoyable and delicious and, nutritionally satisfying. So, put your order in, get clear, and expect it to arrive. And this process, my darling people, which is all about manifestation or quantum creation, is where the magic happens. This is the magic zone. So look out for things that, are magic in your world. Look out for things that start to show up. And as you notice the little things, you'll find that more and more magical experiences will start to show up in your world. So that's it for today's session. So my darlings, what I'd like you to do from here is choose a method that feels right for you, whether it is grabbing a journal and, starting to write each morning about, I am so happy and grateful now that, and then tell a story about the experience that you want to have. Or if you want to just, lay back in bed in the morning and before you get out of bed for 5 or 10 minutes and just imagine that movie and see yourself on the movie, living the life that you want to live. if you want to perhaps, you know, go and prepare a vision board or a mind movie, or, you know, if you want to start writing or thinking about what a perfect day would look and feel like for you, you know, I don't mind. But what I do want you to do is start to get clear and start to get focused on what it is that you intend to create for your life, because this is your life. You're the only one that can choose. And we are always choosing, either consciously or subconsciously, what we are creating in our lives. So, you know, if you were able to choose, and you can, what is it that you want most? So have fun, enjoy it, you know, let yourself play. This is meant to be happy and, you know, an enjoyable experience. And go out and create with love and joy, my darling. And I will look forward to catching up with you really soon and hearing about your experiences. Bye bye for now. With love. Mwah.